Hey everyone, and welcome to An Eventful Life with Brad Cox and Shane Buzzer. I'm Brad.
And I'm Shane.
An Eventful Life is the podcast where we take you on a journey through eventful lives of inspirational event leaders from around the world.
That's right, Brad. We'll be sharing their stories, impact, and insight into the complex world of events. So if you like these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your mates.
This is An Eventful Life. Buzz, how are you today, mate?
I'm good, Brad. How you doing?
Very, very well. What's been happening in your world this week?
I'm going to Adelaide tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about.
Nice. Change of scenery.
Change of scenery. I mean, yeah, I may as well be going to a country town, but I'm excited. Adelaide, gather around. It's going to be all happening over there with the AFL. And yourself, what's happening? Easter?
Oh, yeah, just through Easter, mate. I'm just looking at chocolate and trying not to eat it all at once. But no, it's been a bit of fun, so all good.
Nice
hey,
one.
I'm not sure where this one's going to go today, but buckle in as it's going to be a cracker.
I know.
Today's guest is one of the best blokes in the business and someone we love. Tim Campbell is a genuine triple threat when it comes to entertainment. He's starred on small and big screens since 1997, has performed on theatre and event stages across the world, and even tread the boards on Dancing with the Stars. His life revolves around performing and entertaining audiences. He has more frequent flyer miles than most people I know, and he is just about to hit the road with his brand new sellout concert tour. I've never seen him without a smile on his face. Would you please welcome man about town, the amazing Tim Campbell. Welcome, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. I feel like 87 with all of that intro, and I can't even, to be fair.
How is that, though? And you are
Just
smiling.
Botox, yeah. Thank you very much. Hey, I am so pleased to be invited. Thank you for having me with this great podcast. Congratulations on it too, by the way. But,
Thanks, mate.
And to be, can I say, back at you guys with some of the best in the biz that I love working with. So,
Thank you.
and you've got champagne here. So look, we're good.
I
We're
was gonna
so
say
good.
Bribery. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it takes. So,
I'm
it's
that
great
cheap.
to have you.
I'm that cheap.
Hey, mate, I describe you as an entertainer, as you don't really fit one of the, I guess, the genres or disciplines that we talk about instead of fitting into one box. So you're more sort of two or three boxes you tick on the way through. So from your TV, film, theatre, recording artist, MC, hosting, or whatever you wanted to say. How do you describe what you do, and how do you juggle and prioritise such a workload?
What's on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Look. What do you put on when you go through immigration? I put entertainer. So you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how else do I do it? I've, and I shouldn't say to guys who I work with because I put my invoice in, but I've been faking my way for years. That's faking my way for years.
Yeah.
Because I've just been very lucky to cross different mediums in entertainment and kind of even started back when I was late teens. So I didn't really train in anything, to be honest. I just kind of said, I want to try that and I want to give that a go. And screen acting was probably the first level of performing that I did. Oh, sorry, I played a trombone in the school band. There you go.
Oh, that's important, mate. We've all been in the brass band at
Yeah,
school.
that's all they had. You're either part of the dance group or the school band.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Is that where it started? And was there anything specific you saw and went, shit, that's awesome. I want to do that. Yes.
I don't know. And the weird thing, there's nothing like in my background at home. Dad's a banker and my brother's an accountant, and I became a performer. So that makes sense.
Absolutely. You grew up in Campbelltown.
Hang on, I've got two cousins that were in Manpower, so we are a
there it
showbiz
is.
family.
Yeah. More Botox in there.
No, there was nothing. I just maybe I don't know. But obviously, something inside of me said I wanted to perform, and the only thing available at Campbelltown High School, the old western suburbs of Sydney.
Yep.
Was to join the band, and I joined the band, and they said, what would you like to play? And I chose the tuba to start with because that was the biggest. And I thought, well, I want to play the biggest instrument. That's the
You
coolest.
got to carry it around, mate.
And
I played the euphonium.
Not only do not only did I carry it around, and when you go and play at Martin Place or you
Yeah.
play in these, in the city, then I realised that you only play 5 notes as well. So
Yeah.
I was bored.
Yeah,
Batshit.
shit.
So I changed to trombone. I thought the embouchure can go down a little bit to the trombone. And so anyhow, so long story short, that when we had variety nights at school, I was the one that wrote the comedy sketches to fill in between the dance troupe and the band,
And delivering it as well.
and got a couple of mates together, and we kind of did these little things because the school didn't even do musicals. So
Yeah, right.
so I don't, and I just kept. I don't know why. I guess.
I love the irony that
destiny.
you grew up in Campbelltown. Tim Campbell grew up in Campbelltown.
Well-
You've probably been asked 1,000 times, but is there a story or is it
Well,
just
no, there isn't.
coincidence?
And unfortunately, when I met Anthony, he said, "Oh, well, Tim Campbell from Campbelltown. This guy's going to own acres. This guy owns his
Yeah,
town. There's going to be heritage. He's going to own castles." No, I brought nothing to the relationship. No, but although when I was doing auditions, I started auditioning for TV, and the casting agents, they always remember me as Tim Campbell from Campbelltown. So
There you
Hey,
go.
whatever
that
works.
was my foot in the door. Yeah, that's it.
So was there, in terms of that, obviously the trombone at school and that kind of thing, but was there anything at home? Was there music or particular thing playing in the household, or how on earth did you turn around and go, yep, this is for me as a career?
I have no idea, because at school I was the sports guy. Like, I would represent the school in the state swimming and athletics championships,
wow.
and I was playing the pitcher in the basin softball team, and volleyball and everything, and playing soccer. I was refereed soccer for years, so I was the sports guy from growing up.
Yep.
Way more than performing. And so it wasn't until later high school that I discovered this and thought, and always, I guess, when you come from a background of very stable, but very kind of lower socio kind of area, that performing's always on the side. It was never going to be a career choice. That's kind of a bit weird. So I always had this thing that, I'll get a real job, but for now I'm happy with this. And it wasn't until after high school, because I went from Campbelltown, and very naive boy, because it's a very kind of satellite city in Sydney. I didn't even know what Sydney was. I moved to Melbourne out of high school because I got into the Victorian College of the Arts in the acting course,
Yeah, right.
which they said to me, "You're way too young," and I convinced them that I wasn't.
So
But
to
I
end
was.
up,
Through
to end
acting.
up down
Yeah,
there,
as an
though-
actor, yeah.
So, but to end up down there, so to get into VCA is not easy. But did you get supported through the school program? Did they say, "Hey, you should go and try out for this"?
No.
Was you half decent? You went, stuff it. I want to do this, so let's see how far I can go.
I don't think anyone at school knew what VCA was.
Yeah,
But
right.
we've also jumped a bit because, like, from trombone to VCA.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, I kind of was doing the sport thing, and I got lazy as years went on in high school, and I went into this thing, and I won't bore you with it, but it was called the State Drama Ensemble. So the arts department in New South Wales Education Department had this, and it was the inaugural year, so they brought together about 15 actors from all over the state, all state schools, and we come and meet once a week, and we workshop things. So that's probably how I discovered acting initially, but just doing theatre-y kind of actoring. Yep.
That's the formal
Yeah,
terminology.
I'm an MC. and then that's when I discovered my first agent. So I started doing auditions for commercials and doing little bits on TV here and there. And that's where it first started. I think the springboard for me to say maybe I should take this seriously, because even though I was making a little bit of money doing a commercial here and there, it wasn't much, and again, why I did this, I have no idea, but I auditioned for a theme park in Sydney called Australia's Wonderland. And I didn't sing. I sang because I studied music at school. So I had to do a little bit of singing, but I certainly wasn't a singer. I certainly was not a dancer. Auditioned as a singer-dancer and got a role at this theme park where we performed on weekends and school holidays doing the 50s and 70s show and country show and Hanna-Barbera Land show.
You can get away with a bit of passion in this.
Well, that's what it was. It was always look at my eyebrows. They're the biggest thing. Like, they were so huge back then on stage. And so I learned on the job. I kind of told them what they needed to hear at the audition, enough, obviously.
Yep.
And it was literally in the first rehearsals I was watching. And funnily enough, I mean, name drop here, but someone who was a lot more experienced than I, but Natalie Bassingthwaite and I started together. So we were brought in, we were brought in together as singer dancers at Australia's Wonderland. And in rehearsal, I would watch her and watch the choreographer and watch the guy playing music to go, oh, that's how you sing, that's how you hold a mic, that's how you hold your body when you
Did she
do a
have
dance move.
Did she have it even back then?
Oh yeah, well she grew up in dance schools and that kind of thing. So she was trained. I was the guy who should not have been there.
No, but
Testament to you though, like to actually, because we talk about this a lot in terms of education side of things, how much is done on the job learning in this industry, and having the power to observe, learn, soak it in, take the good, get rid of the bad, and go, yeah, I can do that, and then have a crack at it as well.
And that's literally been my career. And I'm kind of really happy and proud of it. I mean, like, I've sometimes felt like a bit of a fraud, but even to the point where, I mean, fast forward to when I had my first hosting role on television, when they said, oh, because I think by then I was on Home and Away and I was hosting, and I took myself downstairs to say there was the Sydney's version of Postcards. So I thought on the weekends while I'm doing Home and Away, I'll do Channel 7's, travel series. So I was doing that on the weekend and said, yeah, of course I've done this. Of course I've done this. So they took me on board. And then when they offered me the first I hosted a big game show on Channel 7 once, and they said, well, you've done this, you've done live TV, you've done auto, because, obviously I had the bravado. Yeah. Auto, absolutely I have no idea at all. Rocked up in this massive set and just made it up and made it work.
Nice. Hey, you mentioned Home and Away. So your first role was back in 93, and I love this. You were 18 and you played 2 episodes of the character Brad.
Brad, yes.
What a great name for a character.
Awesome, yeah.
But the next 10 years, you did a huge number of roles in Australian TV, Big Sky, Water Rats, Always Green, and McLeod's Daughters, generally for a few episodes at a time. How did you find that time sort of moving from show to show? Was that sort of a constant chase for work, or was that just your work ethic that just meant you kept chasing different things, or how did that sort of organically
or even
happen?
your agent, was it?
Well,
yeah,
that's what it was. And I guess I changed agents a couple of times, but yeah, I was by that point. I guess Home and Away was the first one, and I've 3 times I've been on Home and Away. One was when I was on there for about 4 years, but yeah, there was 2 episodes. Brad, the soccer player from Yabby Creek, I was the tough guy, as if. And then
sporting you,
there it is.
side of it.
And then once I think I played a flashback with Alf when we were at the Vietnam War or something. I don't know.
Oh,
it was
wow.
kind of some weird thing. But anyhow, but once I did a show called Big Sky, which probably a lot of people don't know, but it was kind of like my nighter, I call it, because I was on the show for 6 months. So I was a lead character on there.
Yep.
It was with Gary Sweet and Reese Muldoon and these great actors who are very veteran at TV. Yep. So again, I can do this. I can just watch them at their game in their medium. And Gary Sweet was so great to work with because he was so nurturing, and he knew that I was pretty green, and he really took me under his wing and just showed me because I had done stage on the Australia's Wonderland, and I'd done the theatre restaurants and all big eyebrows and big stuff. I'd really contain it for the TV
He
screen.
always seemed like a good guy just to hang out with. Is that true?
Gary?
Yeah,
he's awesome. I mean, look, this was back in the day also when, this is where I met Jonah Griggs for the first time because they were together and married and then weren't at that time. So, so Joe, I'm really
Is that your
love
fault?
Joe.
Is that your fault?
Yeah, I break. But who did I sleep with?
Well, that's a whole different podcast.
All right, on to the next question.
But no, so what I was going to say is that because I did that show, then I was gigging. So I'd gotten into the next echelon of actor, I guess, because I played a lead role in a TV show. Even though that got the axe, was played on a Saturday night, thank God, because I was terrible in it. But I was now considered this, so I was getting auditions for different roles. So then I would do guest roles here and bits and there, and even Always Greener, I was on and off for a couple of years. And a few shows like that, on and off for a couple of years, they call semi-regular.
So 2004, you went back to Home and Away and you played Dan Baker, like you said, for 287 episodes, about 4 years.
Yeah.
Someone does their
I
research.
know, right?
Every year.
People talk about a show like Home and Away being a great building platform for actors and entertainers in general. Can you give us an insight into what it's like being involved in a long-standing, established, regular show like this, and some of the tools and the skills you did learn that help set you up for the future?
Yeah, it's. I would say it's probably one of the best shows. Like that and Neighbours and shows of that genre are the best shows for an actor, I believe, because it's such a sausage factory of production. It's scripts coming and going all the time, and they've only got a certain amount of budget that they want to spend. So on that show we would have 5 episodes, and you might only be in 2 or 3 of them. There'd be 5 episodes we're working on for the location shoots at Palm Beach, like at Summer Bay and the beach and whatever else. And there'd be another 5 scripts you're working on for all the internals, like all the interior scenes. So and then of course you have to have the continuity set out in your head as well. So you've got to be quite prepared for that too. So you'll be shooting those, going between location and the studio and shooting different episodes to the point where, as an example, you might shoot me walking from outside a cafe at Summer Bay or whatever the beach town was called, and walk into the cafe. The following week, I would pick up that scene and walk into the cafe and continue the scene on.
Oh, wow.
So you had to not only, and there's obviously wardrobe departments that take photos and make sure you look the same, but you have to know, you can't say happy outside and walk inside or whatever else. Like you got to know your story and your context and what's going on in the scene to be able to exactly pick up the rhythm, the style, everything of it. So totally believable, because when it goes to air, people just see that and they think it's exactly the same shoot day.
And you mentioned how, like, I guess you didn't use the word educational, but clearly it was, and all the skill sets
Hugely.
that you learn. And people talk about those 2 shows that you mentioned, about all the actors and actresses that have come from those shows, and they get mocked a bit, but fundamentally they've produced absolute superstars. And I guess, can you convey a bit of that, and how that's come about, or what is learnt on those sets. Yeah.
I know exactly why. Is because of those things. Where it's such a small budget, and you might have 20 minutes of screen time to shoot one day, and you might be in 16 out of 20 of those scenes or whatever else. If you go and do a movie, an Australian movie, let alone an American movie, you're not shooting that much. An Australian movie, or maybe even a drama series, you might shoot 3 or 4 minutes of screen time, which might be, they might do 12 scenes in a day. You're doing 25 scenes in a day. And you have, and also, the scripting of Home and Away is very much just about getting the plot across. And so they're like talk, because you haven't got moments of like this, the unspoken time is always the strongest in a show, but there's no time for that. You've got plot to kind of get out. So there's a lot of words to learn. So when you go from that, you can do anything, I believe. As an actor, on screen that is, if you go and do an American movie, I've done a few American movies. I'm bored on those shows. So bored. Oh my God. And they say it's important. I'm like, come on guys, this is so easy. Let's get it done in 2 takes.
That's really interesting because, obviously as an actor, and you touch on the skill sets and how you can do anything from that. And we've spoken to another guest who talked about the TV setting as far as the production team and how they couldn't necessarily transfer skill sets into events because it is so live. But you're saying as an actor, bang. Because, it's true. A lot of MCs and people in our industry and as a performer are actors, but did you see some of that?
Oh yeah. And I can see it now in events. For someone who loves events and this is my world, I certainly can see it. I can honestly say that if you can read an auto cue in a news studio doesn't mean you can MC an event at night.
It's which is what we touched on.
Such a different medium. And it was me. And for acting, I know a lot of stage actors don't cope on a TV set, especially a show like Home and Away. Because in theatre you've got all this time and all this rehearsal. What's a rehearsal in Home and Away? If you don't get it right in the first 2 takes, they've got no time for take 3. So you need to be on your game and you're moving on to the next one.
Which is live, no rehearsals or no multiple takes, more to the point. So we're in a live environment, in event land. It's like 1 take, that's it. Yeah. Whatever you deliver is what we're going with, what everyone hears.
That's right, exactly right.
Yeah. Speaking of sort of, I guess, getting you off the screen and onto the stage, you left Home and Away and you sort of beeline straight onto that stage as the role of Roger in the Australian production of Rent.
Oh, yes.
How, you've sort of spoken about it, but how was that transition from screen to stage? And was it a conscious choice at that time to go, okay, I'm kind of done with Home and Away and that role, and I want to pursue my stage career at that time? The
good thing about Home and Away, it's a great job. You're fully employed. You're constantly on the go, which is awesome. The bad thing is because of the scheduling, you can't do anything else. So I had an offer once to do a musical and I just couldn't do it because I just can't get out of the production. And it's too much of a sausage factory. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, but it's a huge
You mentioned that a few times and I have to just have a double take on what we're... Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah. You got that image? Yeah, you're welcome. Keep that one. So I made the conscious decision. And even that year as well, like I'm the one that went and knocked on the door to Dancing with the Stars, fully knowing that I needed to lift my profile a bit if I was going to leave the show as well to get out of the ensemble. So I knocked on their door for about a year saying, I want to do it. I think I can do a good job. They kind of weirdly said, well, you can't do it because you're a trained singer and dancer. And I said, I'm not. So I don't know where they got the opinion from because
you bullshitted your way through.
That's right. I know.
They told everybody he was.
Someone finally sniffed my bullshit. Well, because back in those days, like in the introduction, you said multifaceted, but back in those days, you couldn't do that because you were. If I said that I sang when I was growing up as an actor and doing all those auditions, I never told anyone that I even sang. Because they will go, oh, you're a variety guy, you're not a really good stage actor, or you're a good TV actor, and they used to pinpoint that. And I, even when I was doing that time, like when I did Shout, like the musical, so I did a couple of musicals. When I was doing PR for it, they say, well, so are you an actor or a singer? And I said, well, can I be both? Is that okay? It was kind of a new concept, even in 2006, 2007, that you could actually cross mediums, and that's okay. You don't have to be skilled in one. Nowadays, people want to be multi-skilled because they want to pay the mortgage.
And it's not that long ago either when you think about it. 2006, 2007 is not really that long ago in terms of how the industry was running itself.
I was in the singer closet back then as well. So hey!
I mean, we'll touch on this a bit later when we do focus on events, but that's one of the reasons why I do love working with you is because you are an MC, but you belt out tunes as well, and that multifaceted skill set that you have is so valuable for the guest experience as well and the producers you're working with. So that's obviously continued to go from strength to strength.
And I
We'll
love
get
it
to
too.
that,
Yeah, and I love it. And I've worked with Brad for many, many years, and that I used to call myself the fantastic furniture and the package deal king. So there'd be events where I'll sing, and then my band will play at the end of the night, so I can take them through to the last award, and then let's open up the dance floor, and hopefully I've got them drunk enough. That's awesome.
Hey, rent played an important part in your life, not just from the stage career side of things, but also your personal life.
Yeah.
Where you met your husband, Anthony Kalia. Working in entertainment is tough and demanding. Do you feel that because you both work in the industry, that makes it easier in your careers to support one another, work together, understand the pressures each other faces? I know you do work very closely together and share so much. How does that sit from a personal and your professional life?
Probably the good thing with that is that we are similar in our outlook on our careers, in that we love what we do, love the kind of things that we offer audiences and what we do. And you kind of walk home at the end of the night and say, my God, look what I do for a job. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. But we also don't live it. It's not our whole complete lived experience. We have a certain separate life outside of that. And because I know there's couples who've worked in both in entertainment where it hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked a lot. Yeah. And I think one thing is jealousy comes into play, very much so.
Yeah.
And there's just different dynamics and also I guess a lot of traveling as well. And depends on the personalities. I guess we were lucky at the time, but we'd come out of soon after other relationships, and I guess what we wanted, and also we didn't plan it, by the way. Just it certainly wasn't love at first sight when I met Anth, that's for sure. But, and we were separate anyhow. But and I was also very scared to sing on stage with Anthony Kalia, because again I wasn't singing much in my career at all at that point. So.
It doesn't come across. There's a great YouTube clip. You should have a look, Shane.
Well, now it's okay, but this is 15 years ago.
No, I'm talking back in red. So you can find online.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
I'll be fake it till I make it. Yeah. But it is good, and we've certainly found, and it probably goes outside of entertainment, to be honest, about all cards on the table, and we just open book with each other, and we're very honest with each other, which just works. And, communication in many relationships, whether it's personal, professional, is a huge facet that makes things work. So it's worked for us. And I guess because we came from different areas, like Anthony obviously was a singer and a better singer than I, and I'd come from performing and acting and that kind of thing. So when we had to cross over, we had the best tutors and free tutors available. But also from that, I think it's just more just a support network as well, just knowing how not only the on-stage stuff, what happens off-stage as well, that we can kind of support each other.
And how do you, Tim, juggle and even have some balance with the schedules and the revolving door of, both traveling so much to maintain a relationship and social life as well?
After 15 years, traveling away is awesome when you're away from your partner. That really works.
Stretch out in the bed.
Yeah, correct. Look, we have really made it work, and we've gone through a few places we lived in different areas. We did this we had to tick the box to go, do we want to do the whole LA thing? So we unofficially went back and forth and lived there to a certain extent for about a year. But again, I think it comes down to how we both see our world and our life. Like I say, I love what I do, and I'm so happy at this age still doing and still being able to make a career and a living out of what I love to do. And he feels the same way. Like, it's actually quite a privilege to do what we do. And our job is to make people feel good and just have a great experience
in a different setting all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. And so I think we have a really good work play life balance, really, and for both of us, and whether that's also working together. And it's funny, we've only recently kind of been doing more and more things together, and probably just before lockdown and definitely in the lockdowns we always tend to keep things fairly separate. Even though we've always had the same band members, we tend to not do the same gigs, or if it was, it'd be separate. Or we've always we've had requests in the past to do things together, and we've kept it, especially with Anth, who's got a history of music and albums and that kind of thing. He didn't want to come onto my little cabaret style world, but yeah, it's I think it's just that work and personal life balance that we've really found that works really well.
And you
for
guys do
us.
it exceptionally well. Like, knowing both of you and how well you can actually just not necessarily turn it on, turn it off, but it's like Ant's got his land, you've got your land, but then when you do collaborate, it is so easy and seamless, and there's no personal rift that sort of comes in. It's like you're in professional mode, and that's the way you go. And
we also know each other's strengths. Like he knows. Like, in fact, we're doing a couple of events this year where we're co-emceeing together, and he's never done that, and he's kind of a bit shit scared, but he'll be fine. And I know that domain. But also when we sing together, like, I'd still go to him and say, hey, how can I place this? How can I do this? And I guess the thing is too is that we are fairly consumed in each other's life because we do rely on each other. So probably in your world too, like 5 to 10% of what of our work is on stage stuff. 90% is behind the scenes.
Yep.
So we're in each other's 90% as well, as far as all the lead up
100%.
having to do with things that we've kind of really got each other's back with that stuff too. So that helps a lot.
And supporting each other through that process, I think, is really important. I mean, you touched on the COVID stuff, and not that we need to go on about it. We all know what we did, but I guess you're forced to work together, and even more so because you didn't have that time apart. You were literally there as a couple, as a relationship, professionally and personal lives overlapped by the fact they had to.
Yeah.
So,
and it was a case of we just made this but wasn't even a conscious decision. We just knew what we had to do, and it probably came out of that better.
Yeah. Hey, do you find this industry has had an impact on other areas of your life you would like to spend more time focusing on but can't?
No, I actually like the freedom of the events world, and that's come down to, I guess, the timing of it as well. Like if you're doing a musical and you're doing 8 shows a week, you're pretty buggered to do anything else, and especially because they're nighttime. And most events for us are nights, So and they are the peak kind of days as well for events. So and personally, even beyond that, I just prefer the event world to a musical or anything anyhow. But it has given me space. But that's also come down to probably experience. And I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I probably generally speaking, spend less time on an event than I used to, because I think I've got the skill set to be able to do that, and I prefer that. And like we said before, I'd rather the flexibility on the night to go with the crowd, go with what happens. Like
I think that comes with experience, though, doesn't it?
100%, and it is. It's definitely experience, and I'm so happy where I'm at with that now that I can do that. Whereas,
yeah, totally. Back to the stage, one of your most iconic leading roles was Johnny O'Keefe in Shout, which you still do some numbers of now, which is so cool. You've also played Ferrero and Wicked, Corny Collins in Hairspray. There's a whole range of them. My earlier career was also in the sort of theatre area, not to that degree, but...
tell us your roles.
No, there's no roles. I was behind the scenes, mate.
Show us your audition song.
They don't exist.
He's trying to leeway.
Right, okay, get off us right. Yeah.
No, but I believe a lot of the showcraft and production techniques, the storytelling on stage, the precision, the time management, the live performance pressures, are all like skills and knowledge. I was able to apply directly to the more pure event industry stuff, particularly the stage-based events, where we spend a lot of time in. Where does the music theatre sit for you professionally these days, and how do you use that genre to improve your skills as an entertainer?
You're absolutely right as far as using the theatrics of music theatre or live concert performance or anything that involves a stage and good lighting or good sound into the events. And it happens sometimes where I'll rock up to an event and I'm about to be introduced and hang on, what do you mean you don't have like a walk-on sting at least, or a voiceover, or the lighting set's going to draw focus? Like all that stuff is so important to get the show on the road. 100%. And first impressions last, and it happens in events, happens in musicals,
or
in concerts,
from a ceiling,
or hanging. Yes,
exactly.
Oh, I love that. but that's the thing. But first impressions last, and when you don't use those kind of what I find fairly basic theatrics
elements,
exactly.
Yep.
Well, it sometimes can be frustrating or just surprising. But what. So I guess the entertainer in me going back 30, 40 years has just having to evolve through different mediums, and so that's what happened with music theatre as well. I don't chase music theatre as much anymore these days. I guess it's more going back to that work and personal life balance. I really love what I've found in events, and there's so much about events that I love, and I'm not saying that because of this podcast, that I hope that continues for many years, because selfishly it has, as far as that goes, as far as the timing that I require in a musical compared to working on events. And also what events brings, like that, doing the same thing 8 shows a week. By show 16, I'm on autopilot. Probably by show 5, I'm on autopilot, to be honest. And so it just, I give kudos to those who can do a musical for a year or two. I don't know how you do it. I could not. How do you do? I couldn't. Whereas events, although sometimes I might get re-asked to do the same awards night, in 2022 and 23 or what have you. But there's still elements that are different to me, and it's been a year since we've done it too. So
that's a really good segue actually, because what I was going to ask Tim is, we've talked about your events work that you've done without really exploring how that even started. You did the acting, you did the stage performances. What got you into the events world, or did that just organically happen from a smaller scale and build its way up? Or
it probably, if you want to expand the events industry quite wide, it probably started as instead of being a waiter in between work as an actor, I was the one hosting shopping centre shows. So basically, you know, if there was a kids show during school holidays or a fashion show or whatever's happening at a shopping centre, they used to hire me. Living back in Sydney, I'd the guy on the mic, and it was a case of I can do that. And whoever I met through avenues was booking that thing, and you know, it's obviously a lot of it's who you know and the right timing. So I was hosting shopping centre shows on the weekends and during school holidays when I wasn't at Australia's Wonderland, and also I worked in theatre restaurants. So so that was during Wonderland. So Wonderland, I was doing the lovely family stuff during the day, and at night time I was, you know, getting groped by hens nights in fishnets singing Sweet Transvestite. So
that's awesome. We might get into that.
Adjust your medium. But that's what it was. It was kind of. You can grab a mic and entertain them before the show starts, like on all the pre-show stuff, and you just adapt and make it happen and work. And that's, again, learning on the job has been for me. Yeah. So I guess, and that's kind of a weird way going, well, I'm not hiring him to be an MC. But again, it just adapted over time from doing a lot of that live, knowing I can give me a mic and I can just make it happen. So, and I was the guy that was brought in if there was something happening or some event. Like often I'd go without any script. Be like, oh, that's the act and that's the thing. Just go. We've got to go. So I'd be the guy, grab a mic and just make it happen. Just be able to talk.
And confidence, right?
And 100%. Oh yeah. I faked that for many years. And then again, as time went on, and I was hosting a couple of things on TV. Again, a different genre, but the hosting on TV I knew wasn't because maybe because I wanted to do it, but also it was definitely these days. Like, you know, the recent thing that I was doing, hosting on TV, was more to kind of go, don't forget I host, and then if that helps push a bit of a profile or a hosting to host an event, that was my means to an end. So, but I just knew that I could move through that genre of doing TV hosting and also live hosting as well.
Yeah. Do you find yourself having to still do more public-facing roles and productions and shows to stay relevant for your event work?
I wish I didn't have to, but yes. And that goes back to the fangirl casting that happens sometimes at events. So I've, and I can quite honestly say that, you know, back in 2007 to 8, I had a bigger profile, and I know that, and and I'm sure most people don't tell me, but I'm sure like you guys would get it. I'm sure event bookers would get it. The booking agents get it. They might get some people going, "Who's Tim Campbell?" And I get it because I'm
Sorry,
not.
I didn't mean to.
No. But this is the thing: know your place in the market, and that's why I don't charge someone who's like huge. I'm not, you know, someone who's hosting night shows. I don't charge their fees I do for MC. So it's knowing your place in the market as well, and knowing what people like. But like I say, but I work a lot. I probably work more than the people that they've just hired in that market. Maybe a cost thing as well. And again, it's the reason why. Finding your price and finding your balance. This is a business. It's an entertainment industry. So I probably spend more time in the industry part because the entertainment part I can do quite easily.
What's your bread and butter?
The industry part's where I have to concentrate on because that's all the behind the scenes. That's convincing people, you know what, this is going to work this way if we take the event. I know the audience. I know they're sure. You know, some people might know me from socials, maybe from back in home and away, whatever it is. And I get it. And I understand the commercial sense of that as well. And people want to spend a bit of money. They want to have some kind of notoriety, whatever else. But so I know where I sit in the market. So I guess my question is, yes, I do. And that's why I have dabbled here and there. You know, I mean.
And look, this is an event-focused podcast. And, you know, you see and meet a lot of event professionals over the years, and you work on all sorts of different events. As one of the country's leading entertainers and like someone I love working with, you know, you're so professional and easy to get along with. But what is it that the good event professionals get right that allow you to deliver your best performance in area? You know, what are the areas that frustrate you or impact your work? And, you know, where an event might become unstuck? Yeah,
sure. What works for me is trust a lot. And I love when especially an event producer, more so than a booking agent, obviously, you know, gets you together and does all that, but you work hand in hand with an event producer. I love, and I understand why they may not trust you who haven't worked with them before, or they've got a really shit house client on their back all the time and whatever else. So they've got to tick lots of boxes. But I love an event person that trusts me to kind of go out and do my thing for them. And I know that's a hard thing to do because it's not my event. Like it's you guys, you're the ones who are signing the contract with the client. You're the ultimate responsibility of it all. So I get when that's difficult. But when I can grab a script, and I know people do, and they know that when I get a script for an event, and pretty much everyone writes out a script word for word, which I get, and give me as much information as you want, that's fine. But when I say, can I have it in Word doc? Because I'm just going to, I'll tell you guys I do it in dot point, but most people say, I just want to adjust it for my eyes, just a font thing. What I honestly do is probably cut out 80% of that script.
Yeah.
And just go, because, at the start, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor. My name is Tim Campbell. It's my honor to be MC, and we're here for blah, blah, blah. So I go, welcome. And the event title's already at the top of the page. We've got that. The next little bit, and sure, there might be a quite specific, some wording for the industry itself that I'll keep in and read,
like an intro for
and also this industry is about this and this and this, which is fine. But also, I also know I'm probably the least knowledgeable about the industry than everyone else in there. So why am I going to spruik and pretend to be the kind of the guru and the biggest kind of knowledgeable person of your industry? Everyone else there knows it better than me. I'm here to facilitate a great night. So dot point is what my pages are, because as far as I'm concerned, all the stuff that happens off the page are the best parts of the night. So let's explore that. Let that happen. Let's allow that to happen.
And do you think your experience allows you to do that as well? Because you see other MCs and hosts, they want word by word, and they'll literally sit there, a little bit what we spoke about before, auto cue from the television presenter. Just give it to me in a piece of paper, because I'm going to read that thing word for word and not deviate. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different approach, but your approach in terms of that lighthearted, that real charisma and personality, your experience allows you to go dot by dot and just fill in the blanks yourself naturally.
And it does. And also, some people may not want that. Some people might want, and I say this as a cliche, like an ABC presenter to present this awards night tonight, because that's the style they want. And I'm probably not right for that, which is fine as well. So that works. For me, I can't. And look, I will say, if ever I'm in the audience, it just does my head in when an MC is buried into a lectern. And sure, sometimes we get the audio screens, but when you're buried in the lectern, you are so disengaged, you've lost them by the first 5 minutes.
So if you were going to give an event planner, manager, producer, whatever, one piece of advice in working with you, what would that be to make your life easier and maybe the event more successful?
I'd say throw as much information at me as you've got. Like if you want to completely script a script, you want to give me the background, give me the brief give me the whatever document that you sent initially to get the job, whatever. And it's hard to say just trust me on the night, because where they're basing that trust on someone's recommendation. So it's
someone who's done it 20 years.
It does, but then maybe I've been faking it. Maybe I'm just still shit house.
I heard on this podcast, Tim's been faking it.
Yeah, correct. But so like for me, look, this probably wouldn't work for most other people. Like just give me the Word doc and trust me that I will make. I want you to look good. Like I don't even want any accolades. I want the event to run well. I want the client who's paid a shit ton of money to have a great event for them, especially their employees who are probably on a free ticket, and deservedly so, and want them to have an extraordinary night. And I want to help facilitate that as well. But just let me chuck a bit of flavour in that I think will work. Yeah. Yeah,
nice. You're about to hit the road with us with your big first national tour together. Pre-sale has been a massive success, so congratulations. I know you're still adding more and more dates as you go. How does such huge interest in that show impact your day-to-day event work in terms of your MC and hosting and stuff, now that calendar is expanding out?
It's just a calendar issue, really. Yeah. I mean, as far as timing wise, the 90% behind the scenes to kind of get the tour done and the events, that's manageable. Like, let's be honest, you guys work harder than I do. So, I'm cool for timing and I can time manage fairly well, but it's a diary thing. Like, unfortunately now gigs are coming through in November and October, and not that I'm not available and I'll make it work. So don't make sure you always call me, but yeah, like basically Fridays and Saturdays in those months, and they're a pretty heavy event. Months
and
as
those
well.
Months,
But that's this year, and sometimes it's kind of cool to go, oh, I'm actually really busy, so call me next year. I'm very popular. No, but it's good though. But it also changes it up for us, and this is the first time that Anth and I have toured together ever. We've done a couple of little shows together in Melbourne. But the first time we've been on the road, he tours. I've probably toured once nationally before this in a concert environment. So we're looking forward to it, but yeah, you're right. It's sold really well. Like, there's still some tickets available at timcampbell.com.au, but
love it.
But yeah, I think that's for two reasons. One, because Anth always puts on a great concert and has become a pretty funny guy in his concerts as well with his anecdotes and whatever else. So I think his ticket audience has always grown every tour he does because they have a great experience. Plus, all the shenanigans we did online together.
Don't sell yourself short though.
No, but I think the stuff that we did online together as well, and that I don't tour much. I think that's also for an example in Melbourne, like I think the most Anth did in his last tour, he sold 4 shows in Melbourne. We're about to put number 9 on sale.
Yeah.
So I say 5 of them are me and 4 of them are him. Yeah, exactly.
Have you reminded him that?
100%. Yeah.
I've filled 5, you've only filled 4.
Yeah. When I said there's no jealousy,
but I think that it comes back to that. You can see that personal relationship come across on the stage, and you guys don't hold back, and whether it's on social media or the way you perform and stuff, and so people relate and they buy in, and I think that's testament to you guys. It's not like I'm just coming to watch some performer on stage.
No.
Just, does their songs and disappears. It's like I feel like I'm part of the show as an audience member.
And I suppose in particular this one, we've called it Up Close and Unpredictable because it will be a bit unpredictable at times. And it's a music concert. Ant's doing songs. I'm doing songs from a couple of those musicals in the past and even Australia's Wonderland songs. So it's a bit loosely autobiographical. But when we come together and do a few duets, and if you watch us on social media, I'll just say the bathrobes are coming out and there's a few little kind of mime scenes happening as well. Nice. So it's just changing the shows up.
Are you challenging yourself a bit though on this tour to do something you haven't done before? Or?
Maybe a couple of things I haven't done for a long time, right? And especially at the age of 47 and or 48 by the time the tour happens. So gravity's taken over a lot, and we'll see if it still works.
Those pants are still pretty tight when you get up on.
Always, yeah.
Well, without giving away those details, I'm sure
the tight pants. What religion I am?
Yeah. I'm sure some of our listeners would be interested to know, some of the process involved in creating a show like this. It's we're talking about event industry, we're talking about touring and concerts. How active are you in all those elements? For the production and the marketing and the touring and the venues and the music direction, and how does that process work for you guys?
I guess because I'm such a tight ass that we're doing a lot of it ourselves, and we've all but we've also been very hands on with our work as it is anyhow in the past. And again, there's strengths that Anth has and strength that I have, and even look, to be honest, he's always. I mean, we're promoting this tour, which means that we pay for the hiring of the venue. We pay for everything. It's our. Are
you producing it effectively?
Yeah. Like it's our financial risk, this tour, and I've done that a few times with Anth, and behind the scenes, like his George Michael tour and a couple of other tours, like I put that together. I booked the venues. I did the finance. I did the booking of the travel and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, we're still doing that as well. We're pretty hands-on. I'm about to show him the credit card bill that I've been spending the last few months. It's about to fall off his chair, but yeah. But I mean, look, again, finance background. My dad's an accountant. And I was almost an accountant. Yeah, I was a maths nerd at school too. So I get this stuff, thankfully.
Mate, I was an accountant. So
you were?
Yeah, 4 years I was an accountant. Before I ended up even anywhere near this industry. So, but they're great skills.
Oh. Well, I almost had a cadetship with Deloitte. I did the exams and I had a 4-year cadetship with Deloitte.
That's what I did.
You did it?
Yeah, I did the cadetship.
Oh, so, right.
Yeah, different firm, but
they pay for uni and everything. And
a whole lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but then I saw...
I know.
Nerding out here.
Aren't we just? Yeah,
so anyhow. 3 years in, I saw a light and realised it might be a train coming straight for me, and I was like, get the hell out of here. I can't do this rest of my life. Sitting there in a suit and tie. Anyway.
I went and did Bachelor of Business at uni, and 4 weeks later I went, I'm not paying my HECS. I'll get out before the HECS kicks in.
Where do you see career going next? It's sort of, I mean, you get to this point, you're always on stage, or do you have some other interest areas you'd like to pursue in the future?
When I'm about to get off the stage, because these knees can't do Footloose forever. And I think I've said this to you recently. The event world is probably, I reckon, where I see myself, because I'm really passionate about it.
I'm hiring too, if you want.
Great, yeah. And also, I can also see myself, like, I get how important it is, for the room and hiring the room and the centerpieces and all that. My obviously passion is producing the stage, and not just performing, but producing the awards and producing the AV and all the screens and all that kind of stuff. And I know the work that has to go into that as well, dealing with judges and the client and this and that and the other.
Well, like you said before, you've already been doing most of it anyway. So in some way, shape or form, it's just that you haven't physically put the hat on with the lights over the front of it saying, this is what I do.
There has been smaller clients, or even people who do in-house, who self-produce, the EA's producing an event. I go, can I just give you a bit of advice, and can we do this and run it?
Yeah.
So look, that's in the future. At the moment, while people are still calling me and asking me to come up and do them, I'll continue doing that. Look, it might be able to do both, but I kind of feel like if I do go into that realm, I will pull back a lot. Yeah. Like I'll kind of make a shift. So that's the focus, and that's my identity, and that's what I do.
Righto, let's get into it. This is our favourite part, mate. This is Buzz's rapid fire questions.
Let me have a sip of champagne.
Have a sip of champagne,
have a sweet.
And stand by for Buzz to do his work. Go for it, mate.
But before I get into these, so 2025, is that when we do our rock ballad together?
100%. Like, are you working on it?
Of course, yes,
See,
daily.
now you sing
Yeah.
too. See, we're all
No,
singers
no,
today.
no. Mate,
Oh, you're the dancer.
I'm not dancing. That's the last thing you need. That's why they empty the room.
All right, so let's get into it. Rapid fire questions,
Yep.
quick answers, no mucking around.
Cool.
Okay, favorite concert you've attended?
John Farnham, Age of Reason.
Nice, very good. Wasn't expecting that. What a singer, right? Just
Oh,
awesome.
Jesus. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, so what song gets you going in the car?
At the moment, I'm obsessed by a singer called Glennis Grace. And she was part of this Ladies of Soul. So I jump onto her. And it's not always up tempo. She's, I am gay, so I like a big note and lots of vibrato. So, if I need like I had to do a couple of regional gigs recently, I just listen to her albums over and over again, and feel great, awesome.
Nice.
I'm still hanging to see her live. So you said one word answer, great.
Yeah, no, here we are. That's okay. I'll condense these. Now, here's a quick one. What's your go-to cocktail at home?
It is a cosmopolitan. It often, espresso martini to start because you got to line the, and coffee. I don't drink. I actually don't drink coffee.
Okay.
But so I line the stomach because it's fine, and line the throat. But then cosmopolitan, and they're creepers. Geez, I'm an asshole after 5, but it tastes good.
Oh, that's so good. That's great. Again, wasn't expecting that. All good.
All right, Tim. Thanks, mate. It's been a privilege to chat. Thank you very much.
It's not a privilege at all, but thank you.
It's always, it's always nice to sit, and I mean, we don't often get the chance to actually talk about life. It's always, events and gig to gig and what we're doing, and which is always fun. Generally over a few drinks, but it's been nice to actually take the time and sit down and have a good heart to heart, as they say.
And how good to sit for an hour and not look at your phone?
Yeah,
Actually
mine's
talk.
off. Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like,
it's
you
great.
actually just talk.
Yeah,
it's great.
Like I say, if we could, but I don't often and don't even like talking a lot about my past. I just kind of like live for today. But it is nice to go back to I guess with you guys especially, who I've got to know, and I know Brad for a lot longer over time, just through experience. But just to know everyone's got a story. Everyone's got their past, where you've come from. We've all we discover we're both nerdy accountants in the past, and that could have been a whole
and stage performer.
And
No, backstage, mate. I did one
but
show
I've seen Brad on stage a few times. Yeah.
Oh, don't even go there. That's a story for a whole nother podcast again.
Oh, yes.
So,
Karaoke bar.
no. This clown got me up in front of about 1,000 people and said I was a high roller from Hong Kong that had flown in on Melbourne Cup Day in front of 1,000 women, who then gravitated for the rest of the afternoon, and it was quite embarrassing. And they made me do the catwalk up and down. It was not.
That's good.
Anyway,
He actually is. I don't lie. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
I loved every second.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Tim.
thanks,
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
No, congrats on the podcast. This is awesome.
Thanks for listening to An Eventful Life. And if you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe to listen to more episodes. I'm Brad.
And I'm Shane, and this podcast is produced by EOS Creative.
See you next time on An Eventful Life.